seeing how we can help everyone. We don't just want it to be a one-off event where after the 4 weeks training, we let you go. We are thinking, of building or creating a Slack channel where everyone can be on board on the Slack channel. We can continuously follow up with you. We can build a community in that. We can share resources, opportunities, and the like. So we're looking at the bigger picture and the broader horizon that we can, excel with you in technology. So having said that, I would like to welcome Martins Aduse for his work on, yes, I'm recording it, yes. So thank you so much. Mr. Martins, over to you.
Nice.
Mr. Martins, are you there? Yes, please.
Yes, I'm here. Am I on?
Yes, please.
Yes, good morning. Please, can you all hear me? Amanda, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hello, can you all hear me? Please, if you can. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. Great. I would like to thank Amanda, our executive director, for giving me this opportunity once again. I think the last time, the last opportunity I had was, I think, last year. That was during Africa for Us, by Us, and of Us. And it was really, really a great experience. And I'm also grateful. I'm really grateful for this opportunity once again to be with great personalities like yourself, Amanda, and Esther from Liberia, and then every other distinguished ladies and gentlemen within the family of STEMi Makers Africa, basically. So my name is Martins. Right. Basically, we are just going to be handling or talking more about coding basics, fundamentals of coding. We won't be going too deep though, but then there are certain areas which we are going to be talking about. I believe you've all seen the course outline for the next 4 weeks. We are basically going to be doing a lot. We'll do a lot actually, but even though it might look like we won't be doing much, but trust me, we are going to be doing a lot. We are going to be talking about coding basics. We'll look at why do you want to learn how to code, right? After looking into the concepts of coding, we look at why you want to learn how to code. We'll also look at choosing the right languages. We'll also look at choosing the right resources when it comes to, okay, you want to learn this particular language, you want to learn that particular programming language, you will need to know what kind of resources or where are you supposed to go in order to be able to familiarize yourself and become, and then grow from novice to expert, basically. And then we'll also I will also guide you through the process of choosing the right coding editors and then so on and so forth. And then we'll talk about why you need to keep on practicing on a daily basis, because the general saying goes, when it comes to trying to ensure that you reach a level of perfection, we used to say practice makes perfect. How do you get help? And then from there we'll delve into HTML basics. We'll delve into the HTML semantic elements, and then other things. We'll look at the what attributes, and then we'll also look at CSS. From CSS, we'll do some little coding. Definitely, it's going to be a practical course. It's not. It's going to be. Let me use the word hands-on. It's actually going to be hands-on. So be rest assured, by the end of these 4 weeks, you should be able to write a full web page and to be able to at least progress from there and become either a front-end developer or a back-end developer, or probably full-stack developer. For the full-stack guys in the house, I throw my hand. Respect for you guys. Please, if you can't hear me, I would like you to send a note on the chat end so that I'll adjust my network and see how things fare from there. I'll be sharing my screen very soon. From there, we'll move to the Bootstrap framework, right? We'll look at how we can use the Bootstrap framework, which is a combination of CSS and JavaScript, and see how we can use that to write up a full web page in combination with HTML. And then we'll look at HTML5. And then finally, we'll look at, after you are done designing a full web page, you look at how you can upload it to a server, and then we'll see what next step to go from there. Amanda, please permit me to share my screen with you.
Yes, you can. I made you a co-host. I think you can share now. Mr. Martins, can you share your screen now?
Hear me?
Yes.
This indicates if you can hear me. All right. Okay, then I'll proceed I'll proceed. We are going to learn a whole lot of things between now and the next 4 weeks. So permit me to share my screen. I think I was about sharing my screen before the whole thing went out. Right. So at the end of this lesson, we should be able to
Hello.
Kince za ki tara shi da yawa, ai ja mota ba ja shi once haka. Dan kin solve wannan sai ki plan da sauransu kuma next time. Joshua!
Apologies, he's going to join in now. His network is not too stable. We're so sorry, please.
Yes, please, can you all hear me now?
That's a nice thing. Oh.
Hello, please, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you now.
All right, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the network disruption. Okay, so as I was saying earlier on, permit me to share my screen. I was about explaining, giving you a breakdown of what we are supposed to learn at the end of this today's module, basically. So at the end of today's module, I wouldn't say lesson because the lesson is extended till the next 4 weeks. But for today's module, at the end of today's module, we should be able to understand the concept of the term coding. And then secondly, we should be able to understand and apply the common coding terms that are being used by programmers and coders. They say coders and programmers, basically. And then thirdly, we should be able to identify the examples of programming languages, the examples of scripting languages, and the examples of markup languages, and how they can be applied to real-world problems. Okay, so basically, we as we all know, or as we have been probably been hearing, the concept of coding and programming basically has to do with solving a problem, right? A problem is existing, and then you are trying to use a specific means of making a system or a computer to be able to solve that particular existing problem. So fourthly, next we will need to reach a conclusion as to why we really want to learn programming basically. And then finally, we will also identify the right programming languages to use when we need to solve a particular kind of problem. There are times where you need to go, where you need to do certain kinds of research. What kind of programming languages can you use for such research, right? There are certain kind of programming language we do not use for research. There's certain kind of programming languages you don't use to develop mobile apps. There's certain kind of programming languages you don't use for web applications, and then so on and so forth, as the way it goes. So I believe you can still see my screen. I move straight because our time is fast spent. The question is, what is coding? What is coding? As you can see on my screen, basically, coding is a simple term that technology experts or geeks use in place of the word programming. So in the course of these 4 weeks, we are going to be using these two words together: coding, programming. It's all the same thing, right? But then people sometimes try to begin to create some kind of school out of these two words, but it's just the same thing. Programming, coding is the same thing. So what then is programming, right? They will say that programming is the set of, that is a process, right? You give to a computer to carry out a set of instructions, right? For you to achieve a purpose. Okay, so you have a PC with you, and then you have a societal problem you want to solve. Okay, let's not even go to societal problem. Let's just go to a very simple one. Okay, you want to be able to you want your PC to be able to add 1 + 1, right? So what set of instructions do you give to your computer to be able to solve that 1 + 1 to be able to give you another figure, which is what's 2. That is just what programming is all about, right? So sometimes you see complex applications where people will be able to use Google Maps to identify locations, identify where someone else is, and so on and so forth. Or probably you are using, you develop a mobile app which is able to detect that banking fraud, or a mobile app that is able to detect plagiarism on whatever you are doing in terms of research, or maybe you are writing your PhD and so on and so forth, and all that. Basically, it's all programming, and all that has been done in this process has all been simplified in what I've written on your screen. This is the process of giving a computer a set of instructions to follow in order to achieve a specific purpose. Right, I want to proceed from there. So just like I explained, coding is just simply asking the computer or the targeted system, right, what to do, right, how to do it, and where it should carry out instructions, either in a slow pace or in a faster pace. Everything depends on the platform. It also depends on the requirements. It also depends on the particular field of expertise, right? Sometimes you see the technology experts using drones to be able to pluck fruits, or to be able to harvest fruits from a tree, right? It's very simple. Those drones have been given a set of instructions. So in this case, we say computer. That's why you see that I added the word or the phrase targeted system. So in this case, the targeted system here is the drone itself, right? So the drone, you have requested that maybe for instance, you see that I don't know if you guys use LinkedIn a lot. So I was on LinkedIn some time ago, and then what what they did was they programmed the drone to be able to pluck certain colors of fruits, right, on the tree. Okay, so it means that when the drone reaches a particular portion where the tree is, if the fruit is ripe, right, what should the drone do? Have you seen it? So it has given it a condition. If the fruit is ripe, what should it do? If the fruit is not ripe, so how is it able to identify if this particular fruit is ripe? And how is it able to identify that, okay, this particular fruit is ripe and this is not ripe? You see that? So sometimes too, they could also be able to tell with colors. So I will try and see if I can get the videos for and then share with you guys in the course of these 4 weeks. We are going to be doing this. So what the drone does is it uses a scanning technology and then scans, right? After it has been able to detect if the fruit is ripe or not, it uses a scanning technology and then detect what color, because normally it should be able to have a color when it's ripe and when it's not. Are you getting it now? So you see that, for instance, mango, when mango is not fully ripe, the color is usually deep green. Okay, when it's beginning to get very, very ripe, then you discover that the mango itself begins to appear yellowish and a little bit of green, light green and yellowish color mixed together. So this drone has been made to carry out this set of instructions, and it's really doing it as the way it's supposed to do it. Now, what are these technologies that we can apply coding as? What areas can we apply coding or programming basically? In the areas of automobile technology, when you are developing, as you are building cars, when you're developing computers, you are building websites, you are carrying out technology, telecommunication, that's procedures. You are developing games, you are developing mobile applications, you are developing something specifically for point of sale devices, right? Even tablets and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of areas which coding can really be applied to. So I think I've reached the point where I can say that coding is life, because without coding, there are certain things that practically will not even do. And funny enough, you see, the interesting thing is that our everyday life is actually programming. That is one particular fundamental thing we all need to note when it comes to things like this. Our everyday life is programming. Okay, so let's just take it very simple. Let's start with, you wake up in the morning, right? Okay, you wake up in the morning. What next thing do you do after you wake up in the morning? For most of us who are hardcore Christians, okay, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is you pray, right? Then the next thing you do is you get up and then go to the washroom, you take your bath, you clean yourself up. Then after that, what do you do next, right? You take your bags, wear your clothes, and go to work. From work, you return home. Most of us will say, okay, yeah, if it's time to sleep, okay, so I need to pray first before I sleep. as please pardon me, as we are moving, some of the things you guys will type on screen, I would like to read them out and then try to explain. If there are questions, you can post them on the chat side so that I can do both of them as we move on. Because it's a 1 hour class, so I have to ensure that I'm able to cover up the vast majority of what I need to cover up so that you guys can actually learn. Yes, so coding is live. That's the truth. It is not a quote by me, actually, right? It's just something which every one of us have to accept as something we do without even knowing it. That's just how it is. Okay, so what are those things that we need to know, right? We need to understand the fact that coding or programming is a process. Okay, please permit me as we go. I'll be using programming, I'll be using coding. So as we move on, coding is a process, right? A series of actions or steps to achieve an end result. Sometimes this series of action or steps can be iterative. Please understand the terms. Can be iterative, and this same series of steps or actions can also be repetitive. At the same time, this series of steps of actions can can have an end. Okay, so there are okay. So, and sometimes it can have what we call a loop. If it keeps on looping, then it's just like what we do every day. And this is what most of us call routine. Okay, so I'm trying to bring together the world of technology when it comes to coding and our real life. Okay, so what we okay, so if we can understand it in that layman terms, then it will be as easy for you to do as possible. So coding, it's a procedure, right? Series of actions or steps you perform in a specific order. Okay. In our primary school, or I think when we're very, very young, we're told that 1 + 1 is 2, right? And then we're told that 2 + 2 is 4. We weren't given what do you call it? Okay, how did you get one? How did you add 1 and then 1 to make it 2? We weren't given that until we grew up to a certain point. Okay, so they have given you this what do you call it, actions for you to perform in a specific order. Coding involves an algorithm, so it's in an ordered form. Coding involves an algorithm, basically in an ordered form. I'm trying to show us something in a few seconds. Okay, well, okay, let's say for instance, someone has kept something under the bed, right? Maybe you have asked your 3-year-old daughter, right? Let me use that as a clear example. Okay, I just want to show you what algorithm simply means. Okay, you've kept something under the bed and you sent your 3-year-old daughter, who is smart enough to be able to search and then find. Okay, search and find to be able to get that item, right? And then you've asked your 3-year-old daughter to go into the bedroom and then pick this and bring to you. You've told your daughter where it is. Okay, so you've asked him to go and look for it, right? So our algorithm says you take your step to start finding or to start searching. We don't use the word find in technology. We say search. Okay, you start searching, and if you find it, what do? You bring the item back to me. And then if you don't find it, what do? You keep searching. That is simply what algorithm. So you tell your daughter, Elsie, go to the bedroom and pick this piece of or this bucket of water for me. Okay, that bucket, maybe a particular bucket she will be able to carry, right? she doesn't know where it is, but you've asked her, you've told her that, okay, the bucket is under this particular space, go there and pick it up. Let's not even use bucket, let's use a mobile phone. Elsie, my mobile phone is under the bed, please go and pick it for me, right? She goes there, and then if she finds it, she brings it straight to you. And if she doesn't find it, then what will she do? She will keep on searching for it until she finds it. And the funny thing is, there is another portion where if she doesn't find it, what should she do? She will still need to return to you to tell you that what she can't find it. And in other clear terms, we should also notice that when you are online searching for something, you discover that when you type that keyword and then you type on search, if that keyword is not in the database, probably from a software or maybe from a website, what happens? The software tells you search what? Results not found. Okay, let me just quickly go back to what we're talking about. So I was just trying to explain the basics, okay, the basics, so you guys can really get into that, get the in-depth of what the meaning of the word coding is all about. So there are lots of programming languages. Okay, that's when you say programming, coding, they are all the same thing. So there are several kinds of examples of programming languages. We will not finish today's module. So I would like you guys to go and find the differences between high level and low level languages, right? And then also be able to give the examples of these high level and low level languages. Take that as an assignment, and then we see many other things will follow. Okay, so there are high level languages such as Java. The very popular ones are the ones I'm listing right now, right? We can use Java to create both mobile apps and web applications, even standalone applications. When I say standalone application, I mean application that may not require internet, okay? When I say web applications, it's just basically applications that may require internet, because there are certain kind of web applications that run offline, okay? So we can have a web app, we can have a standalone app. Even some standalone app also require internet to function, but internet is not the basics. It's not the basics for it to function. That's the difference between a standalone app and a web application, right? Now, a mobile app, just as the word implies, mobile. So basically your mobile phone. So applications that run on your mobile devices, such as your mobile phones and your tablets, and then I think devices such as your Kindle and so on and so forth. So long as the device is mobile, then it's runnable, or it's basically executable on that particular device. Java, C#, Objective-C. Objective-C is what iOS use. Is what Apple basically used to develop iOS apps. They also use Swift to develop iOS apps. Swift is also a programming language, right? They use Swift to develop iOS applications. They use Objective-C to develop iOS applications. Microsoft Office use C# to develop most of the applications, right? And so on and so forth. So you guys can, since you guys can see my screen, you can do a little bit more of research on these high-level programming languages, right? And then we have scripting languages such as PHP. PHP is just the recursive acronym for what we say hypertext preprocessor, right? So when we are defining or trying to get the acronym right, we start from the middle, okay? And then we go to the front, and then you come back to the back again. That's why we say recursive, okay? So hypertext preprocessor. That is what we call what PHP. PHP is a scripting language. Okay, we use it to program server-side applications. When I say server-side applications, please, if I'm too fast and then you guys cannot follow me, you can always I think, Amanda, I think we can create a Slack channel, okay,
Yes.
so that we'll be able to use this to solve a lot of issues, because the way the class is for today, I just want to ensure that I cover up this particular module, then we can do a little bit of hands-on stuff as from next week going. So when I say server-side programming language, I mean applications that runs your business logic. Typically, you see that, say for instance, you have taken your WhatsApp application and then you are chatting with someone on the other side. The question is, okay, let me not use WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is not a clear example of what we use PHP to do, right? WhatsApp is a mobile application. Let's just look at this. You are online and then you want to chat with maybe the customer support from the of a company on the other side. And then you say hi, and then you proceed, and then the person replies you, and then the message keeps on going back and forth like that. Are you getting it? Now, the question is, who sends that message, or through, basically that message you have sent, okay, passes through an engine before it gets to the receiver, after which the receiver receives it, okay, or the recipient receives it, and then also sends the message back. And when he or she is sending the message back, or return the message, that same message passes through the same engine, which is what we call the server, more like a web server, right? And then the whole cycle goes on and on and on and on like that. That's basically what we tend to be. That's the most basic way to explain a server-side application. Okay, so we also have JavaScript as a scripting language. We have Python and R as research programming languages. We can use Python to actually develop web applications as well, but mostly Pythons are usually used for research, including R, as they say R programming. Okay, permits me to, I think. All right, so we have languages we use, programming languages we use for robotics. We use Raspberry Pi, and then we have markup languages like HTML. We have markup languages like CSS. CSS, we used to say scripting, markup, almost within the same category, right? So the next question is, why is coding very important? Why do we need to do coding, right? Why do we really need it? Even if you are doing business, or probably you are doing political science, maybe you are doing agricultural science, why do you need to understand at least some level of coding as you move on in your life, okay? Or as you move on in your own individual endeavors? Coding is a worthwhile skill to teach and learn, okay? It keeps you engaged, especially in learning, and especially to prepare yourself for the future, especially future jobs. And we will also attest to the fact that in the world we are today, right? Technology has become the order of the day. There are some interviews you don't do physically again, or you say in person, right? There are some interviews which you have to do online. Okay, I am taking a 6-month course, right? And then I did one of my exams, I think about 4 days ago. The exam is online, right? And even all the interviews I've done so far has always been online. So if you're not tech savvy, then you have lots of issues with it, right? Even after you have gotten the job, there are certain things you also need to be able to understand before you can proceed, right? Coding helps you with all these. Okay, coding helps you with critical thinking. Coding helps you with problem solving. Coding helps you with it helps to expand your horizon when it comes to creativity, right? It also helps you to really provide on-the-spot solution when there's a problem. Okay, let me just give you a clear example. There is this system they call Zoho. I don't know if we've heard about Zoho. Zoho is a very, very popular company. They are majorly known for customer relationship management systems, but I think they've also developed several other applications, which is really, really helping lots of businesses across the globe. They also have Zoho Books, which is more like an accounting system. But the most popular one is the CRM, which is a customer relationship management system. I have, to be sincere with you guys, I have never ever used the Zoho CRM before. And then in this test we had just recently, the exam we had recently, it was like, okay, we're asked to go through the system and then carry out certain task, and they've given you 1 hour 30 minutes to do that. Okay, so God being so good, I'm tech savvy, so it was easy for me to do. However, it took me up to 30 minutes to familiarize myself with the system before I could proceed to carry out such tasks that were asked to carry out. Have you seen it? So it was on the spot. It was on the spot, and I had to ensure that I was able to get my 40 marks, because that particular system alone took up to 1 hour, and it was really, really a big issue, because if I had lost that 1 hour, it would have been really, really disturbing. I think Naledi is asking, says, can you please talk more about Python and its application to research? He said, okay, good. All right. So please permit me to finish up with this, then we'll see how best to answer your question. And if it's something you can also post on the Slack channel, and then we'll know what to do from there. Thank you. So the next question is, why do you want to learn how to okay, I want to be able to get to a community and then identify that, okay, so the way by which these people are putting these bins in this area, or the process or the series of process by which these people take to dispose their waste, okay, isn't really helping the community. Okay, so what technology do I apply to be able to solve and then break certain aspect of that process to solve that problem for that particular community or the society? So this is my own reason. You can add yours. You can maybe say you just want to know it because it's fun to know it. Or you could also decide, okay, well, I just want to take it as a hobby. I just want to learn how to code. Or probably you just want to be tech savvy. You don't really need it to even do anything. But I must say, and I must tell you guys, everybody needs to learn how to code. It's my code, so you can also take it like that. Everybody needs to learn how to code. It's really, really important for you to learn how to code. Even your kids have to learn how to code. By the time God blesses you with kids, you are married and God blesses you with kids and everything, you need to teach your kids how to code, because it will get to a time in our world now, if you don't know anything about coding or you are not tech savvy, you are likely to lose the job you are probably chasing. Yes, you can also post it on the chat side, on the chat panel, to let us know why you want to learn how to code. I've given you lots of reasons just now. Mine is to solve real world problems, basically, and some of us might probably be, okay, I want to learn it because it's fun. I just want to be tech savvy, or I want to be able to take it as a hobby, or probably you want to learn to be able to teach others. Maybe you guys are probably online instructors, and then you want to learn so that you're able to teach others and make money. It's also another reason why you might want to learn how to code as well. Right, so we proceed to the next one. This one is a bit long, but then just permit me to be able to explain that well. Now, how do you now choose the right language? That's the question. You see that, okay, you want to learn how to code. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of programming languages out there. You have Java, you have Swift, you have Flutter, you have Dart, not Flutter. Dart, please note that Flutter is not a programming language. Flutter is a framework. It's rather Dart programming languages which runs under Flutter. Okay, so you have Swift, you have Dart programming language, you have Java, you have Python, you have Raspberry Pi, you have lots of them. If I keep listing, the list is probably endless. Even there's this programming language they call Lisp, LISP, and even there's this programming language they call JCL, job control language. They are all languages, right? Even there are some languages even which personally, I must confess, I haven't even heard of in my life. Okay, so the selection of particular programming languages depends on so many factors, right? So the first one is you are looking at a targeted platform and project solution requirement. Okay, so maybe you are trying to develop a software that requires certain kind of platform. Okay, so that is probably why you might want to choose certain programming languages for that. Now, let me give a particular example. For instance, you are developing a mobile application. Okay, I must say, when you are developing a mobile application, the best language to use is Java. Guys, please, this is not that I'm trying to create a controversy. I'm not actually trying to create a controversy, but the best, the most secured, and the most advanced programming language you should use to develop a mobile application should be Java. The reason why I'm saying this is because Java is 100% native. When you say native, it means it is the code you write is able to communicate directly with your mobile phone's hardware. For instance, your camera and many other features, even your contacts, and then many other features you have on your PC. Sometimes your GPS devices and so on and so forth. Everything on your PC, even your Bluetooth, right? Java is able to do all this directly. Okay, so Java is the best. Now, if you look at it, it is a targeted platform. That is just what it is made for. Now, Flutter, on the other hand, is also native, but not as 100% native as Java. Swift, I'm talking about programming languages for mobile apps. Okay, Swift, used by Apple, they use it to develop iOS applications. Swift is directly native. It's also native, right? It means that you're able to use the codes to be able to communicate with the hardwares. Okay, and then on the other side, from Facebook uses React. Okay, while Google uses Kotlin. Okay, so these programming languages are highly native. But there are certain kind of languages which are not native to the platform which you might be developing the whole thing for. Now, it said performance. The selected language should be scalable, robust. So maybe the kind of language, the kind of system you are building should be a platform independent the kind of system you are building requires performance as a criteria. Okay, so the language you should use must be a scalable language. It should be a language which is basically robust, right? And is platform independent. For instance, you are developing a web application. In this day and time, PHP is by far the best. PHP is by far the best. WordPress runs on PHP. I think Drupal runs on PHP. WordPress is a content management system. I believe some of us must have heard of WordPress. We use WordPress to develop websites and even web applications as well. Okay, so PHP, when it comes to web apps, PHP is by far the best. Even Laravel, the most popular Laravel is PHP, right? And then maybe probably you need something that requires a lot of open source stuff and all that. Okay, Flutter is open source, right? Okay, I would say Flutter, but I'll say that is open source. React is also what open source. Okay, even React Native is also what open source, and then so on and so forth, right? WordPress is an open source framework which uses PHP. So if you want to use WordPress to develop certain kind of thing, but you can use it also. But we need to know that WordPress is not a programming language. However, it's PHP that is a programming language, which runs, WordPress runs on, right? So that's the way it goes. So, and then so many other reasons why we might want to choose a particular programming languages for certain kind of systems. Now, the next thing that we need to note is how do we choose the right resources? Okay, where do we go to learn? Sometimes you might be interested in learning and you might not have, or you may not know where to go to be able to learn certain things. Okay, good. So YouTube is my number one. I would always recommend YouTube any day, anytime to be able to do anything. Okay, YouTube is my number one. So when you want to learn anything at all, specifically coding, you can just go there and type Flutter tutorials or React Native tutorials or React JS tutorials. Okay, they are basically it's basically a platform where you can learn anything you want to learn, right? Especially when it comes to programming. Codecademy, all these online e-learning platforms, even our own. I think we have our own platform which we also we are still developing, not yet done, which you guys can also come and learn stuff. That's the STEMi Makers Africa e-learning system. I'm even shy because I'm saying it in the presence of our executive director, right? But let me not see why I'm shy though, but I'll just continue, right? So Open Education Consortium is also another place, consortium. Good. Open Education Consortium is also another platform where you can learn a lot of things with regards to coding. Udemy, eds.org, Coursera, Freelance University. So I have a few certifications from Freelance University as well. So I can recommend Freelance University any day, anytime. Okay, so you can always check my LinkedIn channel for my certifications. Okay. Also, you can also learn from an online community, right? You see, just like what our executive director said, we can create a Slack channel to be able to teach you guys. So basically, we have to know that the 4 weeks will not be enough, okay, for us to learn everything we want to learn. So we can always do a next step, okay? So the next step should be Slack. So on Slack, when you post a question, someone else who is probably experienced than myself, because I won't say I know everything, someone who is probably experienced than myself, who probably knows more than I do, will be able to prefer a solution to whatever questions you ask, or probably, if not that, could give you access to a certain kind of resource which you can use to learn whatever you want to learn. See, the world we are today is a world of it's a world of sharing. Okay, please, whatever you learn, try as much as you can to share, because the more you share, the more you can also learn. We can we'll proceed to the resources. Code.org is a very good resource. Code Avengers is a very good resource. Flutter.dev, right? If you want to learn that programming, if you want to learn the Flutter framework to be able to develop mobile applications, like advanced mobile applications, even React Native.dev, they are all resources which you can go. Mozilla Developer Network, right? You want to learn HTML, right? You want to learn CSS. You want to learn a lot about front-end development. Okay, front-end development. They are all there. These are really, really interesting platforms for you to be able to learn whatever you want to learn. Finally, before we go, right? There are lots of career prospects, right? When you become when you become an expert in terms of coding. You can be a front-end developer for both mobile and web. So there are two aspects. Certain companies would require your services in just front-end mobile development. It's a career on its own, right? So there are more things that you might have to learn. Okay, so let me quickly explain the whole thing. Now, for you to be a front-end mobile developer, the first thing that you need to know is to be able to know graphics. You need to learn graphics, right? When I say graphics, what I mean is graphic design. A little bit of animation. You need to know that. You need to really get yourself abreast with HTML and CSS. From there, you need to understand the concept of JavaScript. You know that I started from the very basic before I decided to start choosing the programming language or the languages you should learn for you to become a front-end developer, right? So you must understand graphic design because it's purely user interface that you'll be handling. Mostly as a front-end web developer, you'll be handling mostly user interfaces. So if somebody wants to, a company needs to have very nice look and feel for their mobile app, they want it to look really appealing to the eyes. You see that, right? They always call on the front end guys, okay, to do other things. And for you to be able to understand these things and for you to do something which is appealing to a user's eye, then you must understand the concept of graphics, the concept of visual communication, right? Visual layout, where this is supposed to be, where this icon is supposed to be, where this button is supposed to be, where this field is supposed to be, and so on and so forth, okay? So from there, then you can proceed to learning HTML, hypertext markup language, and you should learn CSS, right? Cascading style sheets. From there, you must understand and learn very well JavaScript. JavaScript is very important. And when you learn JavaScript, you should also learn TypeScript, which is also very important when it comes to front-end web development. It also applies to web as well. So both mobile and web, right? For you to be a back-end developer, you just need to learn most of the server-side scripting languages, right? You may, that's why I'm using the word may, you may not need to learn much about front end, okay? Because all that you are doing is just doing what this does, basically what the back end does, server, everything that has to do with the server, what the user doesn't see is what we call the back end. What the user sees is what we call the front end, right? So it applies to both mobile and web. Good. So for you to be a full stack developer, then you must combine the knowledge of both a front end developer and a back end developer. So please don't let me scare you guys, okay? Don't let me scare you, okay? It's not all that complicated, even though it might take you sometimes, it might take you maybe years to become a full stack developer. That is, if you haven't started yet, it might take you years because it requires lots of years of experience. However, with consistency and continuous practice, you can become a full stack developer in, let's say 18 months. Let me just say 18 months. That's consistently, you learn consistently, you're always practicing, you're always developing systems and all that. You can become a full stack developer within 18 months. And if you want to be a researcher, let's just say maybe within the space of a year or two, no, not even a year, 2 years and above, right? And then you can begin to proceed. There's this guy I know, he's called Emmanuel. I don't know if you guys have heard about Receive. Receive is it's a mobile, basically a mobile web technology company, right? They are trying to develop a system which people will be able to communicate with each other without using the internet. You guys might think it's not possible, but you see that when it comes to technology, anything is actually what possible. So I believe that with these information I've been able to share with us, I've been able to let you or allow you understand this concept of coding. And then I don't know if you guys have a few questions. I think I should allow 5 minutes for questions, and then we can proceed. Amanda, are you there?
Yes. It's a wonderful time. I really,
Yeah, so
really
I'm done basically. So
okay.
yeah, so we can ask questions.
Okay. Well, yes, there were a few questions that was asked, and well, let me try to go through it. I think Nadeli said something. Yes,
Okay.
Naledi, she asked if we can talk more about Python and its application to research.
Data research, right? When it comes to data collection, when it comes to data collection and all that, okay, you are doing a research, probably a thesis or something. Python is one major application you can use to conduct your research. Python can be used to do lots of surveys. Python can be used to do lots of data analysis. Python can be used to do lots of metrics analysis, a whole lot of it. Okay, so it's not just one simple thing. But the interesting thing about Python is that Python is very simple to learn. It's not complicated. It's so easy. It's so easy that it looks like you're actually learning the normal English language. Okay, it's not all that complicated to learn. But I wouldn't want to go too in depth into that because it's a very broad thing. Because when you talk about Python with regards to research, it's really broad. However, the best I can give right now, for the sake of our time, is you can use Python to conduct data research. You can use Python to conduct big data research. You can use Python to do a lot of applications as well, especially when you are trying to put certain kind of information out there for the public. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Martins. I think Esa also has a question on making some recommendations of free online platforms to, boost their knowledge through these coding classes.
Okay. Okay, so is he asking me to present additional resources or additional platforms for you guys to learn more things, or he wants to present his own as well? I didn't really get that part.
Hey, Esa, can you unmute and explain? Sorry, I need to let him explain. Esa?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Thanks so much for the presentation, Martins. It was actually educative. I was asking, could you please recommend some platforms online that we can use to help boost it can be website, online e-learning platforms, so that we can use them, we can follow the coding 101 courses and lectures there, to boost our knowledge. I hope you got it right.
Okay, I'm guessing your question has to do with links. Okay, so well, from my slide, let me go back to that particular slide. Let me share my screen actually, so that you guys will see what I'm talking about. Just a moment. Let me share my screen. Good. So Codecademy, right, is just for you to go to Google and type Codecademy. Their website pops up straight up, okay? And everything you see here, they've all got their own individual website. I think Coursera is coursera.org, right? Freelance University is freelanceu.com. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me type them out so that you would please, can you all see what I'm typing? Freelanceu.com. Coursera, I think they used to be they used to do free stuff at first, but right now that it seems that most people are rushing their system. They are actually chasing. They have actually started making their courses. What do you call it? Paid. Some of their courses are now paid courses. Udemy is also a good resource. Udemy.com. I think we also have lynda.com. Lynda.com. That's youtube.com. Open Education Consortium, you can always check through to see their websites and so on and so forth. Online community for specific purposes, you can always go to slack.com. Slack.com, you see that since it's a community, okay, you have to make it a targeted community. Okay, so a community for those who want to learn Python. There is a community on Slack for that. There's also a community for those who want to learn HTML. There's also a platform for those who want to learn CSS and so on and so forth. In the course of the week, I'll get these for you guys and then post them online. And then another very good resource is just a second. I think until I stop sharing before I'll be able to use my browser. I don't know why these Zoom guys are just making things really complicated for our lives. Just a second, please. Good. Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is also another very, very good online community resource. Stack Overflow. Stackoverflow.com. Right? Stack Overflow. You also have DannyWeb.com. These are online communities you guys can use to also learn specifically. When you get there, you register with them. I think they will be able to give you a list of other sub-communities which you can actually join to be able to do what you want to do. However, in the course of the week, I'll try and get these links for you guys. Please remind me, Esa. I would get the list for you guys and then I'll share it with you. Mozilla Developer Network is also another very, very good resource. Okay, I think this resource was developed by Mozilla themselves. Let me quickly get a link for you guys. Just a moment. Mozilla Developer Network. Okay, so the link is what I'm posting here in Jiffy. If you can see my screen, that's the link just beside the slide, just beside that very point. So developer.mozilla.org, right? Developer.mozilla.org. That's another good resource you can use to learn, especially when you want to learn more about front-end web development. Any other questions, Amanda? Any other questions?
Yes. Someone asked, I don't know, he said, is there a difference between web coding with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? And all those Pythons, are and the other ones you mentioned earlier. So I think it's asking the differences between the web coding with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and other programming languages.
Okay.
So
If I understand his question very well, I think he's trying to differentiate. He's trying to make me differentiate between a server-side programming language and a client-side programming language, right? So when you say server-side programming language, we have PHP, we have Python, okay? We have there is one that we used to use on the server then. It has escaped me, but when I recall, when I can recall it, I can share that with you guys on Slack. But for now, take it. PHP is a server-side programming language. Python is also a server-side programming language. At the same time, on the other hand, the client side, which is the front end. So when you say server-side programming language, it's the same as the back. For the client-side programming languages, we have HTML, we have Python, we have, we have HTML, we have CSS, we have JavaScript, okay? So these three are for front-end languages, okay? These three are front-end. So they are also called client-side languages, okay? Client-side. And we tech guys say front-end, okay? This is the group of languages we use in developing the user interface, okay? What you want the user to see physically with his eyes, okay? Even though if he's tapping a button, right, the button is actually responding to a command and so on and so forth. He taps a button, he's taken to a page, or he taps a button to share something or to search for something, okay? That button that he sees physically constitutes the front end. The team will be able to create. Okay, so I think that team will be able to create the Slack channel, and then I will also be added so that we can all communicate in the course of these 4 months and beyond. So without any further questions, is there, I'm seeing someone write, okay, assignment. Yes, difference between high level language and then the low level language. That's your assignment. So we'll discuss that next week. You're welcome, Esa. You're welcome. So someone is asking certificates of participation. Well, okay. Yes, you get certificate of participation, definitely.
Wow, thank you so much.
All right, so Amanda, I think that's all. Yes, thank you too.
We really appreciate your time and all the support you've given. Hoping to we're going to be adding everyone to the Slack channel today for continuous support, and we'll also be adding some tech developers already in the community who can also offer support and additional advice so that it may not be overwhelming on your own angle. So having said that, I would like to say thank you to everyone who stayed through. There were a lot of people that started very, very early, and I would like to thank Lillian. They've been really supportive from the Nigerian Global Affairs Council. They are here, and thanking everyone too, who managed to be available. Next week, hopefully, we should be able to go hands-on on the session. But I liked how you gave us like a preamble and like a basic understanding of what our expectations should be aligned with. So having said that, I would like to say thank you so much, Martins. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Lelen. Thank you, Tabitha, Arina, Fatima. Thank you.
Oh, anything for you, madam.
No. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Dr. Katale. Thank you, Joseph. Folashade. Thank you, Naledi, Celestina. Thank you, Francis, Udochuku. Thank you, Kiyeng. Thank you, Skyle Jones. Thank you so much. Chidera, thank you so much. I would ensure to, keep in touch and add everyone to the Slack channel today. So please have a beautiful Saturday.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, bye.
See you next week.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.